I'm Eddie Francis, and this is From Lectures to Livelihood. It's my blog for college students and young professionals about career success. And I just realized something. Cam Newton taught us a pretty valuable lesson about personal branding. Now, if you think that I'm going to bash Cam, if that's what you came here for, then I'm sorry, you came to the wrong blog. I actually think Cam is okay, and I think he's going to have a great NFL career, and I think his fans are going to wind up being very proud of him by the time it is done. But first, let's rewind. So 2015 is a great season. Carolina, they are busting tail and taking names. I don't like it as a Saints fan, but hey, they go to the Super Bowl. It looks like they are going to murderize Denver, and that's not what happens. Denver's defense, they have some different ideas. They decide they're going to get all up in that. And then the press conference happens. And then after the press conference where Cam gets up and walks away from the media, the next day he says on television, quote, "I'm a sore loser," end quote. Cam, appreciate the honesty, but let's have a seat, sir. Whoa, Eddie. What if you were Cam Newton? Would you have been able to handle the crushing defeat so gracefully? Well, actually, back in my day, I used to kind of look like Cam in a 5'5", not in such good shape as I used to be, gap-toothed kind of way. Actually, I would have some advice for Eddie, who is in his 20s, who probably would have done the same thing as Cam Newton. Number one, and I say this as a former PR man, your image takes a big hit when you don't face the music. Listen, we all fail, we all make mistakes, and even worse than that, some of us tend to relive these mistakes. We tend to relive these failures because we know we just can't get that time back. But I'm also a big fan of the adage that pressure doesn't necessarily build character so much as it reveals character. Number two, you're not the first to go through this, and you surely will not be the last to go through this. Cam's teammates had to sit through their press conferences too. They had to hear the voices of Denver Broncos players being excited and happy about their Super Bowl victory as well. Here's the irony. The player whose voice was heard over Cam Newton during a press conference, Chris Harris Jr. of the Denver Broncos, he made a really interesting point. He said, "Hey, I had to answer these same kinds of questions 2 years ago when we lost to Seattle. You remember when Seattle just smacked Denver 48-3? Not 3. Number three, it's not about failing. It's about how you handle failure. There's a part of the poem, If, by Rudyard Kipling, that says, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it at one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss." Let's face it, Cam went through the season dabbing. He went through the season celebrating every first down. He would flash that winning smile in the opponent's faces when the Panthers got the best of them. And if that's the way it's going to be, Superman, just remember, somebody's got some kryptonite. You see, it's all about people respecting one major thing: personal accountability. And this is why I love this concept of personal branding so much, because it makes every single one of us discover who we really are. And if we know who we really are, then we can be so much better for the people around us. Every single manager can tell you one thing about a colleague. Every single constituent can tell you one thing about a leader. Every customer can tell you one thing about a business person whose business they support. And that is the last thing that they remember that person doing. I'm Eddie Francis, and this is From Lectures to Livelihood.